IC engine, combustion, gasification, waste to wealth projects, and turbo machines. He holds a teaching and research experience is more than 38 years, and he has guided more than 21 PhD students, 103 MTech students. He published more than 235 research papers in reputed journals and conferences. He has organized more than 25 conference, seminar, and STQPs. He has 15 patents to his credit, out of which 3 are international. He is actively involved in various sponsored research projects. He has completed more than 11 funding research projects, and also he joined with more than 10 that's different organizations or industries, and 10 MOU signed. He has been awarded the Young Scientist Award twice and has total 8 awarded to his credit. He is also served the SUNIT in various capacities as in charge of director and professor in charge general administrations. So I welcome you, sir, for giving an expert lecture.
Sir, his presentation is visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Now start.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Ronak, for a nice introduction. But in general, you know it, I always call myself as a teacher, right? So today I will share my experience as usual. Whatever work I have done during my tenure as a professor and researcher, that I will share with you and all participants. I will talk on dedicated engine conversion and development technologies with hydrogen, CNG, and producer gas as alternative fuels. So the flow of my presentation will be like this. I will first introduce, and I always deal with the data in introduction, then some general characteristics of the fuel, and then some general approaches for dedicated engine conversion and development. Then I will talk specifically for hydrogen conversion technique, CNG conversion and development technique, producer gas conversion and development technique, and then conclude it with due acknowledgement. So why we should think of alternative fuels, that we will see through our energy data. The global scene, if you take 2019, it is the latest data. The energy consumption is 583.9 into 10 raised to 18 joules. Coal consumption, if you look, it is 157.086. Electricity generation, if you take, it is 27,000 into 10 raised to 9 kWh. Per capita energy is 75.7 into 10 raised to 9 joules. CO2 is 34.169 into 10 raised to 9 tons we emit to the atmosphere. And per capita, we emit 4.72 tons of CO2.
Are you okay?
Now, if you look to the distribution of this fuel consumption,
Okay.
our energy comes 55% of the total energy comes, 27% of the total energy comes globally from coal, 24% from natural gas, 33% from oil, luckily 5% from renewables, 7% from hydroelectricity, and nuclear is also now coming up, 4% from nuclear. Now, if we look only on electricity generation, you can see the 37% of electricity is being produced from the coal, 24% from natural gas, 3% from oil, and 10% from renewable. Solar PV systems and wind energy is coming up in a very good way. Hydroelectricity is 16%, and nuclear is now also coming up 10%. If you look to the Indian scene, our consumption is 34.06 into 10 raised to 18, that is exajoules. Coal, I have specifically added coal data also, because India is a bit rich in coal reserves. It is 18.62 into 10 raised to 18 joules. Our electricity generation is 1558.7 into 10 raised to 9 kWh. Per capita, it is 24.9. CO2 2.48 into 10 raised to 9 tons, and per capita CO2 is 1.91 tons. And this is a distribution of energy consumption so far as India is concerned. 55% of the energy comes from the coal, and rest 30% from oil. While the rest is from hydro, nuclear, 4% renewables, and natural gas. If you only look towards the electricity consumption or generation, it is 73% electricity comes from our thermal power plants. And that is why our particulate emissions and greenhouse gas emissions and the global warming is maximum because of this category of emissions. Then rest is from hydro, renewable, natural, and nuclear energy. Now, this oil use, where the oil? 65% of the total oil is being utilized in transportation. 24% in the industry, 7% in the building, and 4% for electricity generation. This is how the oil is. Why I have taken on oil? Because oil is a principal fuel for our all engines, other things. So 65% is utilized in transportation. So now if we talk about the consequences of high rate of energy consumption, it will create energy crisis. The world petroleum resource may be depleted by the end of this century. The world coal resource may be depleted in next maximum 2 centuries, because newer and newer resources are being identified. If we take oil, this data is exactly 2019 data, BP statistical report. It will last in 49.9 years. If we take natural gas, it will last in 49.8 years. If you take coal, it will last in 132 years. This is as per the existing reserves. Believe me, there are many reserves which are coming up. So accordingly, this data keeps on changing. Now, we take about the emissions, the vehicular emissions first, and then total I will talk about. Say your CO, which is emitted by vehicle, is contribution in overall global warming emission level is 77%. NOx 49%, VOC 40%, that is volatile organic solids, CO2 31%, and particulate 24%. And this is a data from emit rate mean 50. Say if you take NOx emissions per year from transportation sector, yes, is it? Am I audible?
Slide you are presenting, we are able to see only global since 2019 fuel consumption and electricity generation. You are on that slide only.
Should I go back? This is what you want?
No. This is visible. But I mean, you are talking about some different percentage. So I am thinking that you want to show a different slide.
I think I am not able to understand you better. Is this visible? Is this slide visible?
Yes,
This
sir.
slide is
It is visible as a global scan 2019 slide. I think third slide, sir. It
First
is
slide, okay.
Third slide.
Is it all right now?
Yes.
yes. Third
Is
slide
it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Correct? I will go slowly better. I have already spoken the numbers, so I will not repeat it. But this is a global scene.
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes.
This is the Indian scene. Everywhere I do give the references better. Everywhere, whenever I give any data, it is from the standard references.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. This is it
This one is only the third slide.
okay?
Fourth one.
Now, coming to the emission part, I already discussed, but you can see here the NOx emissions if you focus on this. From transportation sector, it has crossed more than 20. In 1990 it was, and in 2020, if we have controlled measure, we have come down to about 17 million metric tons. If we take all sources, it goes to more than 140. You can imagine 1 million tons of NOx. Then come to the particulate matters, you will be surprised to notice that emission is less than NOx emissions. Because mostly this emission comes from the diesel, while the NOx comes from all sources. Diesel also gives a NOx, but the temperature levels in diesel are less than what we get in petrol, so NOx are higher. About 1990, the PMs were of the order of about 4 billion metric tons. And because of our control measures in 2020, we have come down in spite of the rise in vehicular population, improved engine technology, improved fuel quality, and improved, you can say, your road quality. We have come down to about 4 million metric tons per annum.
સર એક આ છે ને સ્લાઇડ કઈક દેખાતી નથી એવું કઈક કહે છે એ લોકો
એ લોકો પછી બતાવે. Just પછી બતાવી દો.
હલો હલો દેખાય છે ને હા હા ઓકે ઓકે હા હા સર એ રોનક સરનો ફોન હતો
મેં કહ્યું ને પાછું. Now, what is the consequences of pollution? Is a global warming. 0.02 degrees centigrade per annum is the rise of temperature in developed countries. 0.05 degrees centigrade per annum in developed countries. And one report had come by New York University itself, and they warned that New York will be flooded by sea in 30 to 60 years because of the melting of glaciers. Mumbai in 200 to 250 years, and Surat will probably see a sea flood in 250 to 30 years. This is the alarming situation which we have to face. Similarly, as per WHO, the environmental pollution is responsible for 8 lakh deaths per annum, 4.8 million lost life years per annum. This means that our technology drive must be towards sustainable green solutions, and hence we must think for alternative fuels. So there are n number of alternative fuels. In my presentation, I have targeted 3 gaseous fuels only. Now, this is a characteristic of gaseous fuel. I have taken hydrogen monoxide, CH4, C3H8, C4H10, and PG is a producer gas. This is the data of fuel LCV, air fuel ratio, mixture, calorific value, and the most important data here is 2 data, the limit. The lean and rich burning limit. That means this is the duration, or you can say limit in which your fuel can burn. Hydrogen has highest flammability limit. And this you can see it from producer gas with little 0.47 to 1.6. Even if you take your CH4 methane, that is your CNG, is 0.5 to 1.69. That means fuel can burn only in this particular zone.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, only 0.54 to 1.69 is a 5 limit.
Sir, data is not visible.
Huh?
Slide
Hello?
change. Slide change. Not
Table is visible.
No, sir. Only 7th number slide. Slide is not visible.
भाई आई कांट हेल्प इट बेटा, एक मिनट, हाँ मैं જોઈ લઉં છું. हाँ. I will come back again. Now
No, sir. Only 7 number slide.
table is data is not visible.
Not visible. Only 7 number. Trends of worldwide emission slide is on.
The limit of phi is not visible.
No, sir.
Well, like what to do is a question for me. Yeah. Anyway, let me call part again.
Okay. Sir, please put on presentation mode.
Huh? No, it is in presentation mode only better. It is not a PDF.
No, sir. In presentation mode, sir.
Press
Top section, sir,
F5.
क्या?
Press F5.
F5 to already I have pressed. 1 minute. Huh? Now,
No, sir. No change.
એક મિનિટ હા બેટા, હું પાર્ટને જરા બોલાવી લઉં છું, કારણ કે this is already in a presentation mode.
Okay.
હા, પાર્ટ મોકલ ભાઈ.
નીચે તો મને દેખાય છે.
તો બી ભાઈ મને લખે ને, લખે તો છે જ ભાઈ. કે F5 દબાવો, શું છે ભાઈ લખે.
એ પણ તો દબાવ્યું. પ્રેઝન્ટેશન મોડમાં જ છીએ આપણે તો. હલો, હા હવે બદલાઈ જ જો, ચેક કરો. બદલાય? ઓકે ઓકે સર, એમ જ કરજો. હવે એમ જ કરજો, ફૂલ સ્ક્રીન પણ ના કરતા.
અચ્છા, now Ronak visible?
Yes, sir.
See, I am sorry for the disturbance. The most important part here is the mixture CV and the equivalence ratio limit range. That particular range gives you that in which limit you should control or design your carburetor. Otherwise, your engine will not work. It will not fire. Similarly, the another limit here, you can see the SL is the flame speed. The hydrogen has a maximum range of flame speed, and methane has a minimum 2.5 to 14, and that's why CNG fuel engine. CNG fuel engine, you can imagine they suffer from the efficient combustion problem. If you take laminar flame speed at equivalence ratio of unity, hydrogen is maximum 270 centimeters per second, and this is not only advantageous but equally it is disadvantageous because it will give rise to the backfire problem. And if you look towards the peak temperatures, reasonably good, except PG is slightly less, otherwise they are all about 2000 K, and product to reactant mole ratio is also reasonable in all the cases, except it is higher for C3H8 and C4H10, the more than 1. But with methane it is equal to 1. This gives how much pollutants you will, or how much is the product you will emit into the atmosphere. Now, we talk about the probable alternative fuels. I have already said I will consider hydrogen, CNG and producer gas seems to be viable alternative fuels which can be utilized as fuel for IC engines through either of the following approaches. So you need different approaches. The first approach is operating SI engines on dedicated mode. Second approach, converting CI engines to operate on SI mode. The third approach is operating CI engines on dual fuel mode with diesel as a primary fuel. So these are the three modes in which this particular fuels can be operated. We'll see one by one. Now, for better utilization of alternative fuel on existing IC engines, again, certain modifications are required to be carried out based on characteristics of fuels. So, few modifications which include are, you have to change your valve timing and valve duration. First thing, your change of compression ratio. You may optimize the spark advance. You may reduce or increase the combustion duration. Your ignition system may require changes. You may have to go for higher voltage to meet minimum ignition energy requirements. Your carburetor or premixture has to be designed according to your flammability limit. I call it. So it has a very wide flammability limit, 4.72 to 74% by volume. That means it allows its utilization over extremely wide air fuel ratio without any misfire. Because it is a gaseous form, it eliminates the problem of atomization, evaporation, mixing, and decondensation. It has a very low ignition energy. This means that it allows utilization of spark or even hot wire and diesel ignition with equally good performance. Because it has a low ignition energy and it has a flame speed is very high, its instantaneous burning makes possible to approach actual engine cycle to ideal and standard cycle. This is a major advantage with hydrogen as a fuel. Then its low emissivity, the flame has a very low emissivity. It reduces heat losses to the cylinder walls, and again it will help in increasing the thermal efficiency of engine. Then its self-ignition temperature is quite high. That means you can operate higher compression rate, engine at higher compression ratios without any problem of, you can say, auto ignition. It is extremely clean fuel, less toxic, no poisonous fumes from the exhaust, and no carbonation in the engine. In fact, I tell you, in 1980, when Nixon was the president of USA, one of the best researchers in the area, he fired the hydrogen in his vehicle. From the exhaust, he collected the water and he asked Nixon to drink it. Nixon definitely didn't drink it, but he drank that water in presence of Nixon to prove that hydrogen is a very neat and clean fuel. So I will call it, hydrogen is said to be a noble engine fuel. Now, anything has its own limitations, problems. So early researchers who were working on hydrogen, they were unable to operate at 60% of stoichiometric air fuel ratio because they face serious backfire problem. Why backfire occurs? It has a very low, hydrogen has a very low ignition energy and very high flame speed. That makes a backfire to occur. Any high temperature hotspot in the combustion chamber, such as spark plug or exhaust valve or carbon deposit, may serve as an adequate source of ignition energy. It will ignite the flame or hydrogen, incoming hydrogen mixture, and backfire will occur. Even the residual gas remaining after the exhaust stroke may also ignite the incoming charge. This is all due to low ignition energy of hydrogen and very high flame speed. One more mechanism has been identified, that is non-thermal mechanism we call it. So in multi-cylinder engine, two or more ignition leads run parallel in close proximity for several inches. This will induce an extraneous voltage is induced. Now with hydrogen, the spark gap is also reduced to compensate for the higher ionization potential of hydrogen air mixtures and higher compression ratio design. This will induce a voltage of very low energy sometimes in the incoming mixture in under cylinder. That means this can induce the backfire, the ignition in under cylinder without the official spark occurs. These are the few problems. So what is the solution? We should understand the problem first. If we carefully understand the problem, then we can arrive at a solution. So how to reduce backfire? Very simple. Why backfire occurs and how to solve it. So first part is exhaust gas recirculation. There are two problems. One is a backfire plus higher NOx emission. So EGR will reduce flame speed, obviously, and it will also help in reducing the hotspots. Second part, increasing conduction via higher surface to volume ratio design of combustion chamber. This will also cool down ignition level, temperature levels of the surface, so backfire will reduce. Operate at a lean range, again it will reduce the backfire. Many scientists have used water induction technique. So before I fired by engine at IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi was using water induction technique, I will share my experience with hydrogen slightly later. But water induction can also reduce the backfire because it will give cooling effect in the line. And another part, very important, delayed entry of hydrogen. Now, majority of hydrogen, this was invented by us. In 1980, when I was working on hydrogen fuel engine, I will explain what it means. If you can delay the entry of hydrogen, all hotspots will be cooled down by the air. And you will not get any chance of backfire. Similarly, if you close the valve before BDC, all the exhaust, whatever is coming out, will go without presence of hydrogen in exhaust line. So this will reduce your backfire. Then designing the hydrogen lines of the diameter which is less than the quenching diameter so that flame cannot travel through it. This means that your diameter of size must be less than 0.6 mm, which many cases becomes quite difficult. But this principle is used in designing flame trap. So providing flame trap very near to the cylinder on both hydrogen and air lines so that flame cannot go through it is another solution to reduce backfire problem with hydrogen as a fuel. And here I have said the same thing which I have earlier said. EGR and water induction not only reduce backfire but also slow down the rate of chemical reaction and so resist the minimum ignition energy about that of remaining ignition sources, thermal or otherwise, and this can also reduce NOx because of the lower flame temperatures in presence of EGR and water. Say here, just carefully look at this diagram. See here, look, combustion duration. Combustion is just started 7 degrees before TDC. Normally we set it. The gap the spark gap is reduced because the ignition energy is very less. And the duration of combustion you can see here, suction is 6 degrees before TDC, that's all. To 33 degrees after BDC, no earlier suction. Compression 33 to 7, that's enough. We don't give much overlap period with hydrogen as a fuel. Combustion 7 degree 28, only 35 degrees, that is max. With your CNG other, it goes up to 56 degrees. Exhaust expansion, it is 28 to 39, and exhaust is 39 to 3 after TDC. This is the exactly valve timing diagram, and it works much better for conversion of any engine. And this is what exactly I have done in 1980. Then this is a delayed entry valve which we designed. Say, opening of hydrogen, there was a separate line provided for hydrogen, and that was operated by piston cam mechanism. So hydrogen supply will start only 30 degrees after top dead center. Air has started 6 degrees before TDC, so everything is cooled down, and now hydrogen will start. In a second figure, it is continuous. Hydrogen comes in. In a third figure, it is fully open. Now in a fourth, it will start going down. So that means closing of this wall. And in the fifth figure, it is closed, hydrogen supply is closed 30 degree before BDC. That means hydrogen is supplied only during how much duration? 30 minus 30, 60, 120 degree duration only hydrogen is supplied. So no hotspots even before, no hotspots even after. That is maintained. So problem of backfire is 100% eliminated. This is a camp which we have fabricated. So IIT Bombay is a very, earlier ISO very tough IIT. Everything you have to do by yourself. So this is a camp which I fabricated on pantograph. This is the profile you can see. This is the duration which hydrogen will come. Then we modified piston geometry to achieve the compression ratio, desired compression ratio. We converted to about 12 as a compression ratio. And this is the flame trap which we have specifically designed. So flame trap works on quenching distance principle. We take two brass plates, we drill very small holes. In between the brass plate, we use 200 micron bronze mesh, so that if the flame take occurs anywhere from here, it cannot travel back to the hydrogen. That is the reason why we have put it into hydrogen trap. This is also provided into the airline later on, but this is the principle. Your flame can travel only to a distance which is more than quenching distance. I will explain you what is quenching distance. You take a candle, flame, the flame is there. Bring two plates closer and closer and closer to the flame. At one time, the flame will extinguish. So that distance is known as quenching distance. Hydrogen, it is 0.45 mm to 0.5 mm. For other fuels, this goes more than 0.6 mm, maybe point up to 8 mm, right? So this care we will take, and this is my experimental setup. So while performing the experiment on hydrogen, today I am alive before you. It is God's gift. We were testing leakage in the hydrogen line. All our surge tanks were of glass, and our pressure gauge, glass means we have taken borosilicate glass, which can withstand 1.4 bar pressure, but somehow that pressure gauge was sticky. We applied the pressure from hydrogen cylinder, and unfortunately, the pressure went above 1.4 bar and all the surge tank blasted. Luckily, we had provided certain protections, so I was injured only at my head, top forehead, but saved. Now, these are the small cares which we will take when we perform the experiment. So this is with hydrogen. We could successfully run. It was 1980, you can imagine. The first engine in the country which has been operated on hydrogen as a fuel with delayed entry technique was our engine at IIT Bombay. Second, which was operated by water induction technique, was IIT Delhi. These were the two engines which were operated in 1980. And then the water induction was not utilized later on. Now, whatever engine you see, they are being operated on our technique, that is delayed entry technique. But instead of cam and other thing, it is now electronically controlled. Now we come to CNG as a fuel. It's another, you can say, a green fuel. It is cheaper than petrol and diesel. That is one attractive advantage so far as commercial aspect is concerned. It is lighter than air and disperses easily into atmosphere. That is a second advantage. The octane rating of CNG is higher than gasoline, which means that engines can be operated at higher compression ratio without knock or detonation. Its auto ignition temperature is higher compared to petrol and diesel. Again, we can go for higher compression, that helps. Then CNG is a more cleaner fuel than petrol and diesel. It reduces CO2 emissions by 20 to 30%, CO emissions by 70 to 90%, NOx emissions by 50 to 87%, particulate matter nearly 90%, VOC emissions by 89%. This is the way how CNG is superior than petrol and diesel. No problems. Yeah, I always give advantage and the problems associated with that fuel. The first problem is CNG gives a lower mixture CV and lower laminar flame speed. Now, lower mixture means 15 to 20% less power output. This first part. Then, dedicated CNG engine system, if you want to develop, requires more modifications and optimization in fueling system for complete combustion and better performance. I will give one idea. When there is a lower laminar flame speed, your combustion duration will be much larger. In order to control that combustion duration, you need to reduce the length of flame travel. First thing. Second, you need to provide certain higher voltage so that you can ignite it bit faster. These are the two modifications which you need to carry out. That means your L by D ratio has to be less than 1. The 0.8 to 1 is a limit for CNG as a fuel. Then CNG vehicle requires a greater amount of space for fuel storage, and it is stored at a pressure of 200 to 210 bar. So slightly you can say you are traveling with a small bomb in your vehicle. Refilling of CNG is a slow process. This also is a quite boring. If you are using a CNG car, you have to stand for a longer duration in the queue at your CNG filling station. And CNG system needs to be tested at fixed interval of time to ensure the safety of your cylinder. These are the problems. Now what we did was we carried out a lot of work on CNG as a fuel. Lot of work, not only hydrogen but CNG and even producer gas. We have taken a model engine as a Honda CX. It's a 4-stroke single cylinder engine. Compression ratio is 8.5, bore stroke 60/42, and net power at 3600 RPM, 2.6 kilowatt. This was a model engine, petrol engine. This engine, we have first carried out a 2 category of studies, all mathematical modeling, even CFD, and then experiments. I will do one by one. This is a CNG composition which we are getting from Gujarat Gas in Surat. The CP, CV, and gamma has been worked out at 298. Then we did one more thing. We worked out the charge and products. That is the specific property of CNG, charge and products, which has been worked out, which is given here. The CP, CV, gamma values. These values are used in actual cycle analysis. Are your HHV and LHV both. All these values have been worked out. You can see here with pure CNG it is 47.1, but moment you come to charge, it comes down to be 2.74 because the air fuel ratio is about 16:1. So these are data. Then simulation process, how it begins. Say, I will go slightly slowly in this particular aspect because I want to let you know that how you can simulate it. This process occurs in 5 stages. First, your suction is modeled, then compression, then combustion, then expansion, and then exhaust. And we have carried out the cycle analysis at each 2-degree crank angle, and then we have carried out a numerical integration. And during the simulation, volume, pressure, and temperature at each 2 degree of crank rotation of the engines are calculated. Again, this is a valve timing diagram. Give few minutes on this diagram. Look the combustion duration. The suction we are starting 10 degree before TDC to 30 degree after TDC. Compression 30 to 24 before TDC. Combustion is 24 to 32. How much duration? 56 degree is the duration. Hydrogen is much less, almost half than what duration we use here. Then the expansion. After combustion, we take up expansion. Anyway, it continues during combustion also, but effective expansion is after combustion and the exhaust. So these are the durations which has been specified, and this data initially we have taken from literature and our own experience. And the ignition energy, if you take, is 0.28 millijoules. To meet 0.28 millijoules, you need to go for slightly higher ignition voltage, and that has to be provided in the engine. Otherwise, you will not get a good combustion. Next. Now before simulation, I advise you to read Haywood. Haywood is one of the best book on internal combustion engines. Majority of the simulation process which I have taken is from Haywood. Somewhere we have used our own analytical process, which I will share here in the modeling part. So what Haywood did? Haywood has defined the 3 different valve lifts, and corresponding to each valve lift, he has given how much is the flow area, that is a valve curtain area to which your mixture will flow. And based on this mixture flow area, this is a flow area, we can calculate what is the mass which is going into the engine. So it is all actual cycle analysis I am trying to share with you. Area is variable. Mind well, as area is variable, your Reynolds number changes. As Reynolds number changes, your CD will change. That is a flow discharge coefficient will change. And these all changes are dynamic. And this has to be incorporated in your computer program. So this is first part. Modeling the curtain area with respect to the valve lift. When your theta changes, valve lift changes. When valve lift changes, your CD and curtain area changes. That much physically, logically you understand. Now next. So this is a suction process. The volume at any theta you can calculate from the standard your slider crank mechanism equation. Then mass, which is dm, is the small mass which is entering into the cylinder, is given by compressible fluid flow equation by Haywood, and you can see here the area and the CD are here the part of this equation. Therefore, this much enters in theta rotation of 2 degree to find out. So new mass will be m dot exhaust which was present in the cylinder plus dm which has entered. Now the new specific heat from energy balance, new temperature again from the energy balance, that is your mixture law, you calculate specific in temperature. Then for calculating here we have considered heat transfer also. There is a convective heat transfer occurs during the flow of charge inside the cylinder. Cylinder walls are at different temperature, mass comes at different temperature, so there is a heat transfer. So this is calculated by standard Vossny's equation, and here it is in terms of d, p and the piston velocity w, and this is a TU. So H is calculated. Then this is a heat transfer surface area given by your again slider crank mechanism I have taken. Then the wall temperature we have measured it. This was our 1988 work at our institute when we were working on your LPG as a fuel. We measured this wall temperature variation, and these variations are given by this equation. This is required to calculate heat transfer, convective heat transfer. You can see here next is A into H, that is from Vossny's, A from your slider crank mechanism, T wall from our equation, and T nu from energy balance. So this is Q convection loss in suction. Next. So corrected temperature will be calculated after considering your convection losses, convective heat transfer, then the new gas constant, and then the corrected pressure is calculated using the standard ideal gas equation. Then these are the results of our simulation suction process. This is the data of your Honda HX engine. You can see here how the pressure varies. Cylinder pressure falls to 0.064 megapascal at 48 degree crank angle after TDC, and then as it keeps on slightly rising. Right? Then temperature variations from initial exhaust temperature in the cylinder, it comes down to about 340, 330, and this is a mass. mass of entry is stabilized after your inlet stroke is, your suction process is over, you can see a stabilized mass flow rate. Next. Then we take a compression. Whatever mass has entered, now it remains fixed, and now you are compressing. So the compression process is modeled by a first law of thermodynamics. That's enough, nothing else. So new temperature by your adiabatic equation, new pressure again by adiabatic equation, and rho by simple ideal gas equation. These are calculated at every theta plus d theta. Then the properties of the new fluid. Here again properties will change because you are compressing. So temperature will now keep on changing. So these are given by Nusselt and it is summarized by Haywood. The viscosity given by this equation. Conductivity is given by this equation. The Reynolds number rho Vd by nu from this equation, standard Reynolds equation. Next. Then the Nusselt number is 0.49 RE raised to 0.7. This is a kind of Arnold's correlation. And then convective transfer is given, calculated from Nusselt number CH. Once it is calculated, your convective heat transfer is calculated, heat transfer coefficient, surface area which keeps on changing by the piston motion, T wall minus T theta plus D theta into dt. And therefore, the corrected temperature is Q convection by this plus T theta plus D theta. Now these are the results of compression. The pressure inside the cylinder reaches to 0.216 megapascal at 280 degrees CA, and at the end of compression stroke reaches to 1.016 megapascal. Temperature inside the cylinder reaches to 583.28 K at the end of compression stroke. This is the exact temperature and pressure at the end of compression stroke. Next. Then combustion process. Now combustion process here is modeled using Weib's function. The Weib function, that means it gives an S shape. When the combustion slowly begins, it then exponentially rises and then slows down at the end. So that is known as S curve. This S curve is nothing but is a Weib function for mass fraction which is burned. So that B theta plus D theta is a mass fraction which is burned from theta to d theta when you travel. It is given by this exponential equation. A and M are for CNG as a fuel. These values are different for different fuels. So what is burnt is dB is B theta plus D theta minus B theta. This is burnt. So mass burnt is NB D theta plus theta is MB1 earlier which was burnt and dB which is now burnt. And unburnt is whatever was earlier present MU1 minus whatever is burnt dB into MC. Now gas constant again by the mixture law, B theta into the RB and 1 minus B theta into RU. So every stage, this all is dynamic programming. You need to calculate it. The specific heat at constant volume again by the mixture law, specific heat at constant pressure by the mixture law, and gamma Cp theta by Cv theta. Then in the combustion process, the pressure changes by two different mechanisms. One, your volume changes. So pressure rise due to volume changes by your adiabatic equation, P theta, V theta by V theta plus D theta into gamma. And now there is a combustion taking place. As a combustion, temperature will rise. So there is an expansion taking place. That will give rise due to pressure rise due to combustion. So that is given by MC R delta T by delta V, where what is delta T? Is the mass of fuel which is burned into its calorific value divided by mass of charge into Cv, because it is a constant volume combustion, theta. So this is delta Pc. So total pressure at any theta is the pressure rise due to volume changes, pressure rise due to heat addition, that is given by your adiabatic plus your dB into Pc. So next, your net Q, which is supplied during combustion, is delta Q received minus delta QL, and it is given by this particular expression. I have given a final expression, and therefore your theta T new temperature is given by the loss, all heat losses calculated into mixtures volume, mixture mass, thereby mixture mass into CV at theta. Again, CV is used because it's a constant volume component. So this is a new temperature, energy balance. This is from energy balance. Next. So corrected pressure again from ideal gas equation, and your again from ideal gas equation you get V unburnt at theta plus d theta. So this is how volume burnt at theta is known to you, V theta plus d theta minus Vu theta plus d theta. So this is a new volume. Now you can call it as a V1 before combustion, and then you can take it out. Temperature of burnt again from energy balance, temperature unburnt from ideal gas equation, from ideal gas equation, and then at this new temp properties are calculated, and again my next stage of combustion will take place. So this is how it is a dynamic program. Next, these are the results. The pressure reaches to its peak value of 5.074 megapascal at 370. The temperature reaches to its peak value at 2269.51 K at 378 Ca. And this is your mass burned. Again, mass is completely burnt after 380. So this gives me an idea that just mass, whatever is was there, it has been completely burned in my simulation also. And that justifies the duration of combustion which you have taken is correct. You can now optimize. If I can shut down this combustion process at, let me say, 380, will it work? According to this result, it should work. So that way you can optimize your combustion duration and spark timing. Next. Then expansion and exhaust process are similar. Expansion is modeled as compression against. So exhaust is modeled similar to suction, only is opposite process. Now these are the results of expansion. So at the end of combustion process, the pressure inside the cylinder is about 3.174 bar MPa, and pressure falls to 0.464 at 510 Ca. This is expansion. Temperature also from 1478, it falls to, reaches to 1478 at the end of my expansion process. Next. This is my exhaust process. Say exhaust here is slightly, you can imagine, is what is happening is, initially there is a fast, and whatever you have learned in your standard books, that there is a blow off. So this is what is your blow off. And then pressure falls to 0.1024 megapascal at 618 crack angle. Then what is happening? This is happened because burnt mass is forced to leave the cylinder space due to very high pressure differential. That is your blow off. After that, what is happening is the valve starts gradually closing up. So there is a throttling effect. So some pressure build-up you can see inside the cylinder. Temperature at the end of exhaust is 720 is to 326.92 K, which is quite near to your atmospheric 300 K. And this is the cyclic process. The entire cycle is iterated till you get a steady state results of all the processes. So there are two loops, internal loop for each process, external loop for complete cycle. So it is a quite good process. If you do it, it will be good. Next. And this is a complete simulation. Your P theta diagram, pressure 5.074 megapascal, temperature 2269.51, and this is a PV diagram. You can see how exactly you are simulating the actual PV diagram which you get on your indicator diagram. And this is the method which gives a quite foolproof result. And we have simulation for almost all category of fuels. This was developed by Pat and our Iyer. The next when I will talk about the PG, that is also developed by us. For hydrogen also we have developed with our Vikas Patel as a PhD student. So all cycle simulation with this method, only the properties will change, only the engine data will change. We have done it. Next. Now validation. Anything which we do, we have to be validated. So as per specifications, This Honda GX has to give 2.6 kilowatt at 3006 RPM, 3600 RPM, with gasoline as a fuel. What we obtain indicated power by data obtained from simulation is 2.1152 kilowatt, 3600 RPM. For the CNG as a fuel for the same engine, which shows reduction of 18.65% with power. If you look toward the literature, and I will show you our IIT Bombay work slightly later, in general, the engines offers 10 to 20% less power with CNG as a fuel because of lower mixture calorific value, plus, I use the word plus, lower laminar flame speed. So it confirms validation. So thus looking to this spec, we can say pressure simulation may be treated as adequately validated. Then we took up optimization part. We did not stop here. Once we simulated, we tried to optimize it. What we optimize? Before optimization, understand one thing. If you look any research paper, unfortunately, I have seen most of the researchers are silent about two parameters, valve timing and engine swept volume. They say we optimize. When you optimize the compression ratio, your swept volume changes. Right? When you optimize in terms of valve timing, your valve timing changes. But in realistic optimization, you need first to keep valve timing and engine swept volume has to be kept constant under all cases. And then what we have studied is effect of ignition advance, effect of L by D ratio, and effect of compression ratio. These three parameters, they are quite critical. So we studied these particular three parameters. Same model, same mathematical model, we have used it. Now this is the range of L, you can see here. Ignition timing we change from 24 to 30 degree before TDC. And what result we have obtained is, that is indicated powers gradually improving when you go for ignition advance, higher and higher ignition advance. Now this can be explained again on the basis of poor flame velocity of CNG. Because when flame travels very slowly, you will reach a peak pressure near TDC and hence you get higher and higher power output when you keep on advancing. But that doesn't mean that you have to advance above 30 degree. There's a limiting value beyond which we should not advance. Otherwise, what will happen? Imagine the compressor work will increase. Because of this combustion, the expansion will take place before TDC and your compression work will increase, which will ultimately hamper your cycle efficiency. So this is what I am getting here, a gradual increase in thermal efficiency, a gradual increase in power output with increase in ignition advance, first thing. And you see now second parameter L by D ratio. We have changed from 0.7 to 1. I already said with CNG as a fuel, flame velocity being less, you need to work with lower L by D ratios so that your length of flame travel is minimum and you get a combustion process or peak pressure near TDC. And these are the variations. So at L by D equal to 0.9, probably we say the combustion, this offers the compact combustion and minimum length of flame travel, which favors combustion of low flame velocity fuel like CNG. And this improves the performance. And this is what our Rajesh Iyer is my PhD student. We have also done experimental work and we have proved that L by D 0.9 gives the better result as compared to any other L by D ratio. Then compression ratio. Here one thing which is very, you can see, interesting to note is, as compression ratio increases, your power which you develop is gradually reducing. Can you imagine why this happens? Think over it. I am leaving it for your thought process. And obviously thermal efficiency increases because your Otto cycle efficiency itself is 1 minus 1 over R raised to gamma minus 1. So as R increases, when efficiency increases. Now the decrease in power output I am writing is attributed to higher work of compression, first thing. Very important. Required with increase in compression ratio. While increase in thermal efficiency may be attributed to availability of higher temperature and pressure at the end of compression with increasing compression ratio. So these are the two logical reasons, right, which explain you the effect of compression ratio. Next. Now this is the work which we are experimental work that Rajesh Iyer has carried out on the same engine. This is a complete experimental center. We have our own data acquisition system with all P theta diagram. Then your dynamometer is a eddy current dynamometer. There is an air cooler which we have used it. Then fuel and air management system, and there is a CNG cylinder. This is my experimental setup. Then this is my test engine I am saying, and what we did is we used 3 different categories of pistons. Piston A, I will give the details of that. Piston B, and there is a piston C. And then we are different L by D ratio 0.9, 1 and 1.1. 3 different L by D. We have specifically developed our length of crankshaft connecting rod was changed accordingly, and piston geometry has also been changed. You can see in piston A, there are 2 cleavage surfaces of different dimension. Piston B, 2 cleavage at the end with different dimension. Piston C, no cleavage, only a central depression, but different geometry. And what results we have obtained? So piston A, one, that is high ignition voltage we have given. We have given comparison with petrol and CNG, kilometers per kg, and these kilometers per liter. Say here, look at figure. A equal to 0.9. That is, we have run the engine with different pistons, with different, you can see, geometries, with petrol and CNG both as a fuel. A quite massive experimental work has been done. So piston A is L by D 0.9, and we have given high ignition voltage. This 0.9, if you look, gives the best results in terms of mileage. 118 kilometers per kg. You cannot imagine which petrol we are getting only 75 kilometers per liter. And this is the way in which we have experimentally also optimized this particular, and this engine was fitted on the Hero Honda engine, and we have taken the trials also, the field trials also, right? This is the result of experimental results. And this is the comparison. Gasoline engine data, thermal efficiency 29.92, power 2.6 kilowatt, L by D 0.7, that is the original 0.7. CNG before optimization, 24 degree before TDC we have used, ignition at once, 0.7, same compression ratio, power 2.11, D rating indicated 31.71. CNG after optimization, 30 degree before TDC we have changed, ignition advance, L by D 0.9, compression 9.5. We have improved the power outcome and efficiency both after optimization. This is what we have achieved in reality. And this is again comparison after optimization. So power, the relative D rating before optimization was 18.77%, while after optimization is only 14.77%. In terms of the efficiency, the relative increase before optimization 5.98%, and after it came up to 22.76%. And this is what we can do it using our mathematical model, as well as we reconfirmed it through our experiments. Now this is a data which already we have seen it, so I will not read it. Then what is the conclusion derived from parametric optimization? Ignition advance 30 degree before TDC, length to bore ratio 0.9, compression ratio 9.5. And from numerical simulation, what is we found that Before optimization, engine power relatively derated by 18.77% and eta thermal relatively increased by 5.98%. After optimization, engine power relatively derated by, so relative derating has been reduced to 14.77%, while efficiency is increased to 22.76%. Then now come to the third fuel, producer gas as a fuel. So how we get producer gas? We get it from gasification. So gasification is a clean energy technology. It will produce gases that preserve as much as possible the heat of combustion of feedstock. What constituents we have? Methane, CO, and H2. These are the combustible constituents which we get in this producer gas. There is minimum particulate emissions, so there is no particulate emissions when we use producer gas as a fuel. Now gasification, it improves the overall conversion efficiency by 1 to 3%. It reduces particulate emissions of CO2 by 50 and CO2 by 50 to 80% and 10 to 30%. It enables to gain a carbon credit for underdeveloped countries like India. Second most important part is India is very rich in coal. So if we adopt coal gasification, probably it's a better option for us to get producer gas through coal gasification. Then again problems. So producer gas has a much lower calorific value even than CNG and gasoline. Further, due to availability of CO in producer gas mixture, ignition energy is higher for producer gas than CNG and gasoline. Because of this too, the power produced by producer gas fired engine is lower. The producer gas quality keeps on changing when you change your feedstock. So it is also again another variable. And producer gas requires higher storage space due to lower calorific value. This is a few problems which are associated. Again, same thing. We took the same engine, but what change we made? We changed the producer gas, which we have. These are properties of producer gas, you can see, and then below table is the properties of producer gas, charge and products. You can see here mixture HHV much less charge 2405, that's enough kilojoule per kg. And all the thermodynamic properties we have worked out at present at charge for 298 K and products at the exhaust temperature 553 K. This is used in our simulation. The simulation process is similar, which I explained you earlier for CNG in good detail. Anyway, it will take much time for you to understand it thoroughly. Unless you sit it by yourself, you cannot enjoy the fruits of that simulation results. So my advice, try to understand it. Sit peacefully in your lab. Do not sit in your home. Sit in the lab and work. Again, look at this particular diagram. I am specifically focusing on valve timing every time. The suction is 10 degree before TDC and 30 degree after BDC. Compression 30 to 16 degree before TDC. Combustion duration, you can see here how much it is. 16 degree to 30 degree. Nearly similar to your CNG. Why similar? 56 degrees, because there is a CO. CO, no hydrogen is there, but CO is a low burning fuel, having a low laminar flame speed and higher ignition energy required. Hydrogen is much less, but if you want to burn completely CO, you need 0.28 millijoules of energy. Right? Then expansion 30 to 30 and exhaust 30 to 10 degree after degrees. This is a beautifully drawn valve timing diagram. All credit I give to Parth, who has been instrumental in making this PPT as easy for understanding for you all as anybody else. So that credit, thanks, I do give to Parth. And then these are the results. A complete cycle result I am sharing. Suction pressure changes from 0.93 to 0.955 minimum and then coming back to 1.013 bar. Compression 1.013 bar begins and reaches peak 1452 bar. Combustion from 1452 to 38.12 to 25.2 at the end of after the end of combustion. Value you can see in CNG it was 51 bar, here it is 38 bar, the peak pressures. So that is a difference, you can visualize it. And that is responsible for giving you lower power outputs. Expansion 25.2 to 2.8 and exhaust 2.82 to 1.014 and then built up to 1.8 bar. Why this much high built up? Because the volume is much higher because of the mixture is volume. Temperature, suction 553 to 320, compression 320 to 655, combustion 655 to 1842, again less than 2276 which we obtain in CNG. Expansion 1762 to 1008 and exhaust 1008 to 782. This data I am giving you because so that you can compare it what we obtain in CNG and what we are obtaining with producer gas. And this is a complete cycle. Again, actual cycle is perfectly matching. Here, our power which we have calculated is 2.16 kilowatt. Efficiency part I am talking later on is here 26.76% and SFJ mean effective pressure is 6.05 bar. With producer gas, obviously your mean effective pressure will be less, 6.05 bar. This is a complete simulation data. And this is the conclusion which I have already read from mathematical modeling. Explain you. And here I am writing one line, last line. Combustion happens at TDC, after TDC, there is a scope for improvement. Now this part, what we did was, later on what we did was we took up a CFD studies, which I will tell you. Now full cycle analysis which shows that power output is 2.16 kilowatt and so the relative derating is 16.9%. Thermal efficiency is 26.76%. Here there is a decrease. With CNG earlier it was increased, but here it is decreased 9.5% compared to gasoline. Then we went for CFD analysis because we need to modify our combustion geometry. We need to optimize few parameters so that we can achieve the reasonably respectable results. So what we did was our complete simulation we performed from flow fill and flame interaction inside the chamber. And what we have selected, simulation was done from IVC to EV open. That is a complete compression, combustion, expansion. This was a simulation and we have taken only 45-degree sector. Otherwise computational domain will become very large. We cannot handle in a normal computer. And we have used structured mesh 20640 nodes, this many at 17985 elements at TDC condition. And the TDC condition we have incorporated by taking 0.5 mm basic elemental size. So that means we have reduced that size when we come to the TDC position. And then I have given a breakup at different crank angles. At 346 here I have given three. One is a temperature contour, then the reaction progress contour for combustion, and then a velocity vector. So at 346 CA, that is a compression process. No combustion is taking place. So pressure is 15.03 bar, 663 K, and the velocity vector upward is 2.23 meters per second. as an upward velocity vector. At 354 CA, again slightly later, you can see some spark has occurred, so reaction has started. The temperature, the pressure which we reach is 18.37 bar, temperature 737 K, and the horizontal vectors now, it is 10 to 20 meters per second. Right, because we are approaching nearly your TDC position. At 364, again the combustion continues. The pressure which reaches 25.52 bar, temperature 1046 K, and the vectors are 4 to 6 meters per second horizontal. At 370, before CA, crank angle, pressure 31.24 bar, temperature gradually increases 1640 K, and horizontal vectors 10 to 20 meters per second. At 374 CA, the pressure is again increased 37.75 bar, 1870 K temperature, and horizontal 5 to 10 meters per second. And the peak pressure which we obtain is 38.87 bar at 376 crank angle. At 382, now there is a complete combustion. Again, 35.3 bar, 2107 K, and vertical streamlines. So streamline has changed, and the peak temperature is 2116 K at 380 degrees CA. Next. And this is my comparison, a beautiful comparison between mathematical model and CFD. Say our power with mathematical model, I got 2.16, with CFD 2.39 kilowatt. Efficiency 26.76, 29.77%. IMEP 6.09 and 6.7695 bar with CFD. So there is some deviation, but the deviation is not very high. But the most important part you observe here in combustion rate for mathematical and CFD simulation. Now this is quite interesting, and this gives us a hint to modify the parameter A and M which we have used in Weis function. It's a Weis function parameter which we derived from experiments, and we have used it in mathematical model. These parameters from CFD, they are different than what we used in our mathematical model. So if we want to optimize it, probably we need to deal with A and M parameters in Weis function. These are given hint which we received from CFD. Next. Then validation. Validation is very simple. With petrol, our power output was 2.6 kilowatt, efficiency 29.6%. Our mathematical model shows 2.16 per kilowatt and 26.76%. That means the relative derating in power and efficiency is 16.9% and 9.5%. Now, in general, engine offers 10 to 30% relative derating in power and 5 to 15% relative reduction in efficiency, depending upon the composition of producer gas use. This means our results are quite validated. They are in tune with literature published results. While CFD results, if you look, they are within 11.5% of mathematical simulation results. This, I think I have already discussed it out, so we'll just pass it on. CFD again. Now, the laminar flame speed, which we are predicting, is by UDF in CFD. So there are two options with me. Either I have to redefine UDF and then find out M and A parameter, and that is to be used in my mathematical modeling, or I take as it is what I have obtained and recalculate A and D and using mathematical model. What is possible, right? Now, one last line which you see, but mathematical and CFD simulations, they show that there is a scope for improvement in power and efficiency by varying ignition advance, as very small amount of charge burns up to TDC and most of that burns after. This is observation from both mathematical model and CFD. So next what we did was, next. Before I took that one, I will share our IIT Bombay results. Sasikanta was working in 1990. Myself was also there at IIT Bombay. We developed a 15 kilowatt gasifier system engine. This is a schematic diagram of the engine system. We designed our own mixture. We converted that engine under and run it in different modes. And this is my engine details. This is IIT Bombay, 1991, 92, 92. We worked on this engine, producer gas-fired engine. Next. Now we were very thorough in the sense this was a 15 kilowatt, 1500 RPM, compressor rate of 17, that was Kirloskar Cummins engine. So first we carried out a performance test with pure diesel as a fuel. Then we designed a mixture, a carburetor, Venturi mixture. We operated the engine on a dual fuel mode, no change, only nothing which was not changed. Same injection timing with diesel, that is a dual fuel mode. And in the suction, we supplied that producer gas, that is dual fuel mode. Then we used the spark ignition. We removed the injector. In place of injector, we installed the spark and we incorporated a spark ignition system. We call it a SIPJ, spark ignition producer gas fired engine. Here we changed our, you can see here, compression ratio we change. 15 is 11.5 is to 1. Other part, if you just look at the data, SIPJ give us a percentage de-rating of 12% with producer gas as a fuel. That is one part. That is a observable part is 12% de-rating we obtain with SIPJ, is spark ignition producer gas fired engine. Believe us, we took CNG also. That is a dedicated CNG engine, same engine. We convert to a dedicated CNG engine. What we changed was, we changed again, the compression ratio was 11.5. Other parameters were nearly constant, but some spark advance was injection spark timings were changed. And again, our de-rating was about 15.3%. So this is the series of experiments we carried out with producer gas and you can say CNG, dedicated CNG as a fuel. There are two things which is what. With dedicated CNG engine, 35 degree was found optimum in the tested ignition. You can say 35 degree. What our simulation obtained? 35 degree before TDC was the timing. While in CNG, 22 degree were found to be optimal. Again in CNG we varied from 32, you can say 30 degree before TDC. So these two were our experimental observations. If I come to the efficiency part, we could improve our efficiency of SIPJ to 32.4% and dedicated CNG engine as high as 38%, which was a good achievement so far as the CNG fuel is concerned. Then emissions. Now these emissions, if you take CO with SIPJ is higher because SIPJ uses producer gas, which itself has a carbon monoxide. So it is higher. DCNG is a bit less. SC emissions, SIPJ lower because there is much less, no, you can say particulates. But with CNG, it is higher, 82.5. NOx is 611 and 1188. This were at that time was a worrying parameters for us. Then in cylinder pressure crank angle records, I am just giving it here, but I will not try to read it out. all measurements we have done. You can imagine how much is the experimental work which we did during that era. Sasikant was pursuing PhD on this engine, 15 kilowatt kiloscale engine. Now, next. So our focus when we started working here was not only engine parametric optimization, but we wanted to see that our emission has to be minimized. So we optimized the valve timing and the duration of valve and studied what is the CO emission, how the NOx is varying. We could not see any specific trend. With respect to our timing, EV closes after TDC, whatever is, and CO and NO. So we could not see any specific trends. But we could observe two things. That the CO emissions are obtained with IV opening as 20 degree before TDC and EV closes at 22 degree after TDC. That means this gives me a guideline about minimization of my emissions of CO. Similarly, NO is minimum with IV opening of 20 degree before TDC and EV closing at 26 degree after TDC. So this gives me a guidance what kind of valve timing I should use in my real life engines with producer gas as a fuel. Next. Now, this is the setup of part which we are working now. It's a much advanced setup than what we were working at IIT Bombay. We are using a complete all safety measures. We are designing our own mixture. IIT Bombay was a simple Venturi mixture. Here we are using a swirl chamber also and a very dedicated mixture. Similarly, engine is 100% dedicated. The parameters which we optimize through our mathematical and CFD, these parameters we are trying to incorporate in this engine. So this is a 40 kilowatt engine now. We started with small engine 2.5 kilowatt, then IIT Bombay 15 kilowatt, and this is a 40 kilowatt. This is an industrial engine. So we have the provision to operate this engine both on natural gas as well as on producer gas. That's the beauty of this engine. Next. These are the few header and water seal components. Setup. This is orifice and surge tank. And this is the overall comparison of results of simulation. Gasoline power 2.6 kilowatt, efficiency 29.92%. CNG mathematical modeling 2.11 kilowatt. After optimization, we obtained 2.22 kilowatt. Efficiency 31.71% and 36.73%. PG power 2.16 kilowatt, efficiency 26.76%. While CFD has given me 2.39 kilowatt, efficiency 29.77%, which is comparable to your gasoline engines. So now I will make my overall conclusions. Hydrogen, CNG and PG, the producer gas, are the viable alternative gaseous fuels for IC engines. Conversion and optimization of existing engine can easily be achieved with these fuels. Development of dedicated engine will certainly reduce the derating in terms of power and acceleration, because with CNG you are finding the acceleration is reduced. So if you go for dedicated, you will improve this part. The head efficiency levels with these fuels can be obtained without any problem. Reduce emission levels with use of these fuels will improve the quality of environment and human life. And this is the most important part. We need to improve the quality of life and the quality of environment. Next. So I must acknowledge Ronak, complete ADIT team, for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge with you all. My student part, the most hardworking boy I have ever seen, Taha Rahul. Rahul has done the CFD work. My staff Mines and Hitesh, my daughter Maria, who is instrumental in making, to some extent, this PPT, and you all. And as usual, I always give this message. We have to be socially responsible human beings. This means that If we want to have luxury of one fridge and one AC in our house, we must grow 2 trees to maintain ecological balance. If we want to have luxury of four-wheeler, we must grow 4 trees to maintain ecological balance. So thank you all. Any questions I will share with you.
Thank you, sir. There are some of the questions, and I will read for you. Mr. Pradeep R has floated a question: can alternative fuels survive EVs? I guess he means EVs as electric vehicle.
I don't see any issue better. Huh?
Huh. Okay, and there is one more question, sir. Producer gas can be condensed and use it for produce wood oil or bio oil. So I think he want you to talk about something on wood oil.
Wood oil.
Yeah, it can be generated using wood. Say any biomass can be used to produce biogas. Sorry, taste producer gas through gasification route, right?
Okay, sir. Sir, there is one question from my side. As I'm also belonging to this field, internal combustion engine, I've been involved to teach this subject since last 10 years. I just want to ask one question. As per your wisdom, how far you see that IC engine would be used as in transportation?
Say that, dear friend, there are many debates going on this aspect.
Yes, sir.
One of the latest reports says up to 2060 we need to not to worry about the existence of IC engine. It will continue to survive.
Okay, sir. There is one more question I can see on the chat section. How the combustion ending is measured?
Yeah. Say the combustion ending normally is being measured. That is, you can see there is a expansion stroke continuously going on. The moment your combustion ends, you will see a small, in a P theta diagram, a small sudden change in that curve. That curve indicates you that your combustion has ended. The measurement is also possible, but for that you need to go for in situ flame sensors, and that is you need to go for a visual engines. That is your engines with a very high quality of quartz engine. But normally people do it like this way.
Sir, there are few sub part of this question. Effect on valve timing on the CNG simulation and how to reduce NOx.
So that already simulated results I have already shown it, right? So unless you carry out a complete simulation, you cannot say. But those results I have already given you. That results were simulated results, and experimentally also we can verify it. Because this simulation is quite robust. Whatever I have presented before you is quite robust.
Okay, so with this, thank you so much, sir, for such a nice and informative presentation on dedicated engine conversion and development technologies with hydrogen, CNG, and producer gas as alternate fuels. Thank you so much for.
My one message to all of you, beta, don't keep it this only as an informative session. Make it as a learning session.
Yes,
Learn
sir.
something, work, and I say always work in the laboratory. Sit in the laboratory and work. Don't work in your comfort zone, that is your AC chair, AC cabin. Go to the laboratory, work in the hot sun. That will make you more tough, and it will make you capable to give you something back to the society. Yes, Gupta ji.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Can you show that 87 number of slide? I want to take a screenshot. Can I
Beta, you are not audible.
Which response that message is there?
No. Yogesh, Yagnesh, can you repeat her question?
Let's try to put it in the chat box.
Yeah, please put it in the chat box, and because you are not
No,
properly.
no, I want that slide to take the screenshot. That 85 number slide that is showing one good message.
Ma'am, you are not audible properly because there is a lot of disturbance at your end.
Now I am audible.
Dear Beta, I am not able to listen you carefully.
Okay, screenshot.
Sir, we will do, we'll compile if there is some other questions from the participants and we'll forward you on your mail ID if you contact us.
Okay. Right. So Gupta ji, ठीक है?
Please share the.
Okay, Dr. Chaniwala, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Nice
so much.
listening.
Yeah.
Good
I will
learning
send
from
it to you.
your
Yes, I will send.
good learning from your experimentation all these years.
Yeah.
I think nobody in India must have done so much of research work as much you have done with your
Yeah. That's what I am
PhD scholars
advising
and all
you.
that.
The work in the lab.
Yes, very
24/7,
nice. Very nice.
Work in the lab.
Very nice, very nice. Highly appreciable. Thank you very much for being with us.
Okay. Thank you, Sunil.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.